I love you. I need you to survive. Most of you know this, but just in case you don't, I am an independent. I was raised Republican. I've always had very democratic views. Spent more time in my life being a Republican than being a Democrat, but more time being an independent than any of them, because I really do believe the further you get from the center, the crazier it gets. That being said, this is not intended to be political. This is intended to be relational. My words cannot express how profoundly it is true that I love you and that I need you. Wednesday, a friend described how they were feeling as having a disorienting hurricane spinning around in their heads and a massive stone sitting on their chest. I'm sure that many of you can relate. Before 9 a.m., I had responded to 30-some friends and texts, calls, emails, posts, and about a half a dozen phone calls. Most of them were in shock. Some of them were in crisis. Some of them also just wanted to pound their chests and rub salt on my and others' wounds. One, however, absolutely pushed me over the edge into full-blown sobbing. So after getting some of that negative energy out of my body with a little kettlebell therapy, I call it, I did what I had to do for my soul. I sat down and I wrote a poem, or at least I tried to. I'll let you be the judge. You matter more for us all. How you talk to and about others matters more. Coming alongside the bullied matters more. Giving your map to the lost matters more. Believe it or not, you matter more. That you talk with your parents matters more. That you respect differences matters more. That you listen to understand matters more. Believe it or not, you matter more. Smiling at strangers matters more. Forgiving grudges matters more. A random act of kindness matters more. Believe it or not, you matter more. That you do you matters more. That you respect you matters more. That you care for you matters more. Believe it or not, you matter more. Awe of the Creator's brilliance matters more. Loving as you were first loved matters more. Humbly grounding life in the Spirit matters more. Believe it or not, you matter more. As foundational as ABC, as universal as 1, 2, 3, as pure as love God and love others as you love yourself. You matter more. Listen, all the parents that have children of color or who are LGBTQ+ that I know are fearful for their children's lives. They're not just fearful for their children, they're fearful for their children's lives. And all of us who feel devastated and even in anger, we could easily plunge into despair. So what we need to do today, and in these early days following the election, is very, very important. Let's not do what I did and accidentally hurt someone I deeply respect, admire, and love, and jump right into strategy. It will come. It will come as sure as the sun will come out tomorrow. And I know it will come. This is Western Pennsylvania. I agree with Jim Wallace. He gives us 3 things to do. 1, allow the biblical notion of lament to reside in us as a response to what just happened. Learning to lament biblically should be our first step right now. Expressing our sorrow, our pain, our confusion and frustration, our feelings of helplessness and hopelessness before God, to God, and with God is the place to begin. 2, rest. Take time to sleep and be quiet. Breathe. Go for a walk. Get some exercise. Drink lots of water. Keep that other stuff on the shelf for now. Eat healthy food that is good for your body rather than the comfort food that is not good for our bodies, for our minds, or for our souls. And number 3, reach out to people who love you and who you love. Spend time with your children and your family. Tell your loved ones that you love them, no matter how they voted. And that you need their love right now. Bless the people that seek God's blessings. Bless your friends and your community and even our country right now. And don't ever forget, don't ever forget everything that you've learned and you know. Remember that God is at work in this nation and in this wider world in ways that we can trust. It is the biblical story, and we can trust it even when we can't feel it. That's why it's called faith. I would like to wrap this up with a letter that my spiritual director sent us, our directees. It really sums it up. Dear soul friends, as most of you know, my mother is in her final days of life. She is dying from endometrial cancer. That is incredibly painful. She is a brave soul who has dedicated her life to caring for her neighbor and welcoming her stranger. She has friends from around the world who call her mother because they had lost their own mothers just before meeting her. When she found out she had cancer that could not be treated, she announced that she wanted to live so that she could vote. Born in 1930 to a military family, she spent most of her life living in the shadows of men in her family and being a helpmate to just about anyone who needed help. She accepted that role with grace and dignity. She became a fierce supporter of Planned Parenthood and League of Women Voters. She was hoping to live long enough to see the election of the first woman president. Last night at about 12:45, I realized that the election had been lost. And as I tried to sleep, I worried about Mom. Would this loss deplete her? Would she worry about the future of women's rights and proper medical care? Would she worry about a lack of inclusivity and kindness towards each other? Would she worry about her great-grandchildren and all the children who are growing up with climate change and so much hate spewed between warring nations and within our nation? I finally fell asleep. But once again, when I heard a voice from within, my soul's voice firmly announced, "Be the light. Be the light." I was filled with gratitude, she says. I felt empowered and purposeful. It's a message I've known most of my life. My mother used to take me to church when I learned a simple song in Sunday school, "Let your little light shine." Be the light is at the heart of most faith traditions, including mine. And Jesus tells us to be messengers of light and promises the energy and empowerment of the Spirit will guide us and fill us. It was just what I needed to hear. And I could also hear my mother say, "Well, I guess you've got your marching orders." I guess I do. I hope you do too. Let's do this together. Let's be the light for those who cross our paths. Let's let our light shine. Deep peace to you. Susan. Friends, in the days ahead, make space, hold space for grieving. Connect to those you love. Offer lots and lots of hugs. Hold on to them just a little bit longer. And take deep, holy breaths. Go for walks or drives in God's awe-inspiring creation, or sit in silence and be calm and meditate. But rest in the assurance. Rest in the assurance that opportunities to be the light for those who cross our paths will come. Right here, right now, lament with God and love each other. Amen.